Every spring, good gardeners waste money replacing plants that never needed to be replaced in the first place. Not because they are careless, not because they do not love their gardens, but because nobody told them which plants can seed themselves, spread naturally, and return year after year without another trip to the nursery. Today, I am giving you 13 plants you can start this May that may keep filling your garden for years. Some thrive in poor soil. Some feed bees, butterflies, and birds. Some handle drought deer, neglect, and difficult corners where expensive nursery plants fail. Plant them once, give them the right conditions, and they can begin doing the work for you. And make sure you stay until number 1, because if I could protect only one plant from this entire list, that would be the one. If practical garden knowledge like this saves you time, money, and frustration, subscribe now. Every week, you will get simple, useful planting advice before the season passes you by. Number 13. Rose Campion. Rose Campion is impossible to ignore. Its bright magenta flowers rise above soft silver-gray foliage that looks almost velvety. It brings instant color and contrast to dry, forgotten spaces. This plant is technically a short-lived perennial, usually lasting 2 or 3 years. But once established, it self-seeds so freely that the colony keeps replacing itself. You may lose an individual plant, but you rarely lose Rose Campion. It performs best in USDA zones 4 through 8. In warmer zone 9 gardens grow it more like a cool season plant, and sow in early fall instead of late spring. For May, planting scatter seeds directly on bare raked soil. Do not bury them. Rose Campion needs light to germinate. Once seedlings are 3 to 4 inches tall, thin them to about 12 to 18 inches apart. The key is not to pamper it. Poor, dry, gravelly soil produces stronger plants and better flowering than rich, compost-heavy beds. And because its woolly foliage is unappealing to many deer and rabbits, Rose Campion is perfect for problem spots where other plants get eaten before they ever settle in. Number 12. Evening Primrose. Evening Primrose gives you something most gardeners never think to watch for. Step outside at dusk in midsummer, and you may see the flowers open in real time. The buds loosen, the petals unfold, and within about half a minute, a closed flower becomes a bright evening bloom. It is usually grown as a biennial, but in the garden it behaves almost like a permanent plant because it self-seeds so reliably. Start it once and it can keep returning from its own seed year after year. Evening Primrose grows well in USDA zones 4 through 9. It handles poor soil, dry ground, full sun, and even light shade. That is why you often see it thriving along roadsides and disturbed ground. Direct sow it in May where you want it to grow. Do not transplant it. Thin seedlings to about 6 inches apart and give mature plants room because many can reach 4 to 6 feet tall. Most importantly, leave the seed heads standing. Goldfinches and small songbirds will feed on them through fall and winter. Number 11. Love in a Mist. The name makes perfect sense the moment you see it. Soft flowers seem to float inside a mist of fine, feathery foliage, giving the plant a delicate look that feels almost unreal. Love in a Mist is technically an annual, but it self-seeds so heavily that one May sowing can keep it coming back for years. It is also one of the most adaptable plants on this list, growing across USDA zones 2 through 11. Direct sow the seeds in full sun on bare raked soil. Press them in gently, but do not bury them deeper than about 1/8 of an inch. This plant does not like transplanting, so start it exactly where you want it to grow. Flowers usually appear about 8 to 10 weeks after sowing, but many gardeners love the seed pods just as much as the blooms. They dry beautifully on the plant and look stunning in arrangements. Collect a few pods, but leave most behind so the next generation plants itself. Number 10. Borage. Borage is one of the most useful self-seeding plants you can put in a vegetable garden. Its star-shaped flowers are a rare, vivid blue, and both the flowers and young leaves are edible. Crush a leaf, and you will notice a fresh cucumber scent almost immediately. Technically, Borage is an annual, but once it flowers and drops seed, it usually returns every season without help. It grows across USDA zones 2 through 11, making it useful for almost every American gardener. Direct sow the seeds in May, about half an inch deep in full sun and average to poor soil. Thin plants to around 12 inches apart. Do not transplant it if you can avoid it, because Borage prefers to grow where it was sown. Here is why it earns its space bees absolutely love it. A single flowering plant can stay busy with pollinators all day. Many gardeners also plant it near tomatoes and squash, where it is often valued for attracting beneficial insects and supporting a healthier vegetable bed. Number 9. California poppy. California poppy is the plant behind those unforgettable orange hillsides that seem to glow in spring sunlight. The reason it creates that effect is simple. It self-seeds, easily spreads with little help, and thrives where many garden flowers struggle. It is technically an annual, but in the right conditions, one sowing can become a repeating display year after year. It performs best in USDA zones 6 through 10, though colder zone gardeners can still sow after the final frost and enjoy strong seasonal color. Direct sow in May on bare soil. Do not cover the seeds and do not overwater them. California poppy prefers lean, well-drained soil and could fail if the ground stays too wet. The classic orange form is famous, but you can also find cream, yellow, pink, red, and burgundy selections. Plant a mix, let them cross naturally, and over time your patch may develop color combinations unique to your own garden. A dense planting also works like living mulch, covering bare soil and helping suppress weeds. Number 8. Yarrow. Yarrow is one of the toughest flowering perennials you can grow. It tolerates drought, poor soil, full sunlight shade, compacted ground, and neglect better than many expensive nursery plants. It spreads through both seed and underground rhizomes, so once it settles in, it can slowly fill a difficult space and hold that ground for years. Yarrow grows reliably in USDA zones 3 through 9, making it especially valuable for cold climate gardeners who need plants that can survive harsh winters. Sow the seeds on the soil surface in May. Do not cover them because they need light to germinate. Press them gently into raked soil, then thin seedlings to about 12 inches apart. Avoid rich soil. Too much fertility often makes yarrow grow tall and weak, causing the stems to flop. Dry, lean soil usually gives you sturdier plants and better flowers. Yarrow also feeds bees, butterflies, hoverflies, and other beneficial insects. Leave some seed heads standing, and it will keep giving structure long after summer color fades. Number 7. Hollyhock. Hollyhock feels like an old farmhouse garden in plant form. Tall flower spikes soft cottage color, and a sense that the garden has been taking care of itself for decades. It is usually a biennial or short-lived perennial, but it self-seeds so reliably that a good colony can stay in the same area for many years. In the right place, hollyhock may reach 5 to 8 feet tall, so plant it where height helps you along fences, walls, sheds, or at the back of a border. It grows well in USDA zones 3 through 9, sow directly in May, pressing seeds about 1/4 inch deep. After seedlings establish, thin them to roughly 18 to 24 inches apart. Do not transplant them late. Hollyhocks form deep taproots quickly, and root damage can set them back badly. The biggest problem is hollyhock rust, especially in humid areas. To reduce disease pressure, let seedlings appear in slightly different spots each year and remove badly infected leaves. The flowers are edible and beautiful as a garnish, especially the deep red and near black varieties. Number 6. Purple-top verbena. Purple-top verbena gives height without heaviness. It sends up tall, thin branching stems, often 4 to 6 feet high, with small purple flower clusters floating above the rest of the garden. Because the foliage is so light, it does not block views or smother neighboring plants. It simply weaves through the border. In USDA zones 7 through 11, it can behave as a true perennial. In zones 5 and 6, it often returns from self-sown seedlings. Gardeners in colder zones can still test it in protected sunny microclimates. Surface sow in May and press the seeds lightly into the soil. Do not bury them deeply. Germination can be slow, sometimes taking up to 3 weeks, so do not give up too early. Its greatest value is for butterflies. Swallowtails, painted ladies, monarchs, and other long-tongued butterflies feed from its narrow flowers, especially in late summer when many gardens are running out of bloom. Number 5. Foxglove. Foxglove is breathtaking, but it must be respected. Its tall spires of tubular flowers can appear in white, pink, purple cream, and deep rose, often with beautiful speckles inside each bloom. Few plants create that same dramatic vertical effect in a shaded border. Foxglove is usually a biennial, but it self-seeds so reliably that once you establish it, new plants can keep appearing for years. It grows well in USDA zones 4 through 9 and prefers partial shade, especially in hot southern gardens. Surface sow the tiny seeds in May. Do not cover them because they need light to germinate. Mixing the seed with dry sand can help spread it more evenly. Plant toward the back or middle of the border because flower spikes often reach 3 to 5 feet. Now the warning, every part of foxglove is toxic to humans, dogs, cats, and horses. Grow it away from children's play areas and pet traffic, and wear gloves when handling it. That same chemistry makes deer and rabbits avoid it, which is why foxglove can survive beautifully where many tall ornamentals get eaten. Number 4. Bee balm. Bee balm earns its name the moment it begins to flower. Its shaggy blooms can appear in red, pink, lavender, purple, or white, and they quickly turn the garden into a feeding station for bees, butterflies, and even hummingbirds. Few plants feel this alive when they are in full bloom. Bee balm is a true perennial and a North American native. It spreads by underground rhizomes and also self-seeds, so one planting can become a strong colony within a few seasons. It grows reliably in USDA zones 3 through 9, including cold northern gardens. Sow the seeds on the soil surface in May because they need light to germinate. You can also divide established plants in spring for faster flowers. Space plants about 18 to 24 inches apart, and remember that they are meant to spread. The main issue is powdery mildew, especially in humid regions. For better performance, choose resistant varieties such as Jacob Klein Raspberry Wine or Marshall's Delight. Its fragrant leaves were traditionally used as tea, and in the garden, bee balm is one of the easiest ways to bring movement color and wildlife into the same space. Number 3. Columbine. Columbine is one of the best self-seeding flowers for shade. Its nodding blooms have delicate petals and long backward spurs, giving each flower a shape that looks almost sculpted. When you grow several varieties together, they may cross-pollinate and produce new color combinations after a few seasons. That means your garden can slowly create flowers you will not find in a seed packet. Columbine is a true perennial in USDA zones 3 through 9. Unlike many flowering plants, it does not need full sun to look good. It often performs beautifully under light tree cover along north-facing borders and between established shade plants. Sow seeds on the soil surface in May. For better germination, chill the seeds. First place them in a damp paper towel, seal them in a bag, and refrigerate for 3 to 4 weeks before sowing. The seeds can be toxic if eaten in large amounts, so be mindful around children. But ecologically, columbine is valuable because some butterflies depend on Aquilegia as a host plant. Number 2. Black-eyed Susan. Black-eyed Susan is the wild, tougher cousin of the sunflower. Its golden yellow petals surround a raised, dark central cone, creating weeks of color from summer into fall. It is cheerful, durable, and one of the most useful native flowers for a wildlife-friendly garden. This plant grows reliably in USDA zones 3 through 9. It prefers full sun and medium to dry soil, and once established, it can handle drought much better than many common ornamentals. Sow seeds on the soil surface in May and press them gently into the ground. Do not bury them deeply because they need light to germinate. Once seedlings are growing well, thin them to about 12 to 18 inches apart. One easy way to identify true black-eyed Susan is by touch. The leaves and stems feel rough, almost like fine sandpaper. When the flowers fade, do not cut everything down. Leave the seed head standing. Goldfinches and other small birds will feed from them through fall and winter. Number 1. Purple coneflower. If I could keep only one plant from this entire list, it would be purple coneflower. It is native to the North American prairie hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9, drought-tolerant, once established, long-blooming, and deeply valuable for wildlife. This is not just a pretty flower. It is a plant that helps turn a garden into an ecosystem. The flowers are bold and unmistakable purple-pink petals sweeping back from a raised, spiky orange-brown cone. Bees work the central cone methodically, butterflies visit through summer, and later in the year, birds move in for the seeds. Sow the seeds on the surface of raked soil in May. Do not cover them because they need light to germinate. In colder zones, germination improves if you chill the seeds first for 3 to 4 weeks in a damp paper towel inside a sealed bag in the refrigerator. Be patient. Purple coneflower is not always impressive in year 1. The first season is mostly about roots. In year 2, it begins to flower more noticeably. By year 3, it can send up multiple stems and begin forming a true colony. That is why this plant is so valuable. It compounds. One May, sowing can become years of flowers, pollinator activity, bird food, and self-seeded new plants. The seed heads are especially important for goldfinches through fall and winter, so do not cut them down too early. Purple coneflower gives you beauty and summer structure in winter and life in the garden long after most flowers are finished. Now, before you go, here is the simple way to use this list. For dry, poor, neglected ground, start with rose, campion, California poppy, and yarrow. These are the plants for thin soil, hot corners, gravelly edges, and places where your more delicate flowers keep failing. For shade or part shade, choose Columbine, Foxglove, and evening primrose. They can bring height flowers and softness into spaces that many sun-loving plants cannot handle. For maximum wildlife value, plant purple coneflower, black-eyed Susan bee, balm Borage, and purple top verbena. Together, they support bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, beneficial insects, and seed-eating birds across a long season. For cottage garden height, at the back of a border, use Hollyhock, Foxglove, and evening primrose. They give you vertical structure without needing constant replacement. And here is the most common mistake with self-seeding plants: cleaning up too early. If you cut everything down in fall, rake every bed completely bare, and bury the soil under heavy mulch, you remove the very seeds that were supposed to plant next year's garden for free. Leave some seed heads standing. Leave small patches of open soil. Let the plants finish their work. That is the secret. These plants already know how to return. Your job is simply to give them the chance. Tell me in the comments, which of these 13 plants are you putting in the ground first this May? And if you already grow one of them, which one has surprised you the most? Subscribe for more practical garden wisdom before the next planting window passes you by.